Good morning, everybody. How's everyone doing today? We are back with our weekly wisdom. I missed you last week, but I was out coaching at the Career Master Conference, and we had such a great time. But I'm glad to be back with you today with a very special guest. And I'm Tammy Jaffe, for those of you new to this, and I'm your host for the weekly wisdom. And I am a breakout growth expert. I help people go from corporate to cash in their business so that they can replace their income, going from employee to entrepreneur without all the headaches. And so I'm so glad you've joined us today. And we've got a special guest, Nora Richardson. And she is our branding expert here with us today to tell us what we need to know before you go create that logo. So I know that's one of the first things everyone wants to do. It's like, what do you name your business? And like, stop putting so much time into figuring out your name. And then what do you do about the logo? So I'm so glad you're here with us. We're going to have a great conversation. I'll just quickly, a couple of things about her. She has over 2 decades of creating relatable, must-have, unmistakable brands. She has developed a system for identifying your real target audience, not what you probably think it is. And these are the people that love what you are all about, value what you do, and immediately want to jump into your world, all while handing you their credit cards.
And isn't that exactly what we want? Is it,
Yes.
hand you their credit card?
Easy process, right? So Nora is an international speaker. She's been mentioned in the New York Times and helps clients achieve 6-figure wins by spotlighting their awesomeness without compromising who they are. Thank you so much for being with us, Nora. Tell us a little bit more about yourself and how you got to where you are.
Oh, well, thank you so much for having me, Tammy, and I would love to. So, about 2 decades ago or so, I decided that the 9-to-5 grind just was not my thing, and I know that so many people are out there right now saying, yes, 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 right? I wanted more freedom. I wanted more flexibility. I wanted to feel appreciated. I wanted to help people, really help people. And so I decided I'm going to go and start a business of my own. But like so many of us, I started a really great job for myself. And so I did not know, because I wasn't taught how to get a brand, or not brand, a business, how to set up a business. Now I knew about branding, and in fact 20 years ago we didn't really call it brandings per se, but I knew the steps, I knew what I needed, and I still was struggling. I'm like, oh my gosh, what don't I know? There are things that I obviously don't know, and it took me 8 years to figure out what I didn't know, and that was basically, I don't know anything about business. And so that took me on this whole trail of trial and error on what actually works and what doesn't. And, it really was a motivator, because, every 3 months I was doubling my income when I actually landed these things. And I'm like, ooh, note to self, this works, And so then I started implementing these things for my clients, and they were seeing the same results. And that pretty much takes us to today, where I have kind of figured out what works right now, not the traditional marketing and branding things of the past, but actually what's relevant today, and even right now with our current 2020 kind of debacle.
Yes, for sure. Well, we are so glad you are here to help save us those 8 years of trying to figure it out. And we know that the best way to learn is to learn from someone who has been through it and knows how to do it better, and learn what they've done and learn from them and figure it out. So we have many people in our group, and I'm sharing this in my group as well as on my Facebook business page, but my group is called Inspired to Resign, going from employee to entrepreneur. And so that is your journey as well. And so I'm so glad to have you here, and knowing, the people I work with, are on that path of trying to figure out how to replace their income. and be able to make that transition the easiest way possible. So tell us a little bit about what branding is in your mind.
Well, to simplify branding is basically it's really about you. All right. So it's you about who you help, your audience, and as well as understanding how you differentiate yourself from your colleagues and competitors. So that's branding in a nutshell, which people actually think marketing is what you're supposed to be putting all of your energy towards. And marketing in my world is just the vehicle. So a brand strategy for your branding is you are the driver. The brand strategy of who you're talking to and where they are is the GPS. And the marketing is the vehicle that you drive to not just, the neighborhood of where our audience is, but actually, to their house, to their kitchen, because your audience is hungry for what you want, what you have. They're hungry and you need to sustain them. You need to feed them, right? And sustain them. And how do you do that is you drive straight to them. And what wouldn't anybody want? Doesn't everybody just want to know exactly who their people are, exactly where to go to find them? And that's what branding does for people. It's fabulous. It's so exciting. And it's people that you want to help and that are, like I said, raising their hands when I jump into your world and give you their credit card. So
Yes.
that's branding to me.
That's branding. That's awesome. And, I love the way you describe it with the GPS and, it's the marketing is the method for getting there, because
Yes.
I think so many people come out and they're just like, I need to do marketing and I need to figure that out. And if you don't have those fundamentals in place, it doesn't get you anywhere. And that's what we see so much with people starting out is they waste so much time and money on marketing and doing things that are not going to work because they haven't figured out those foundation pieces first.
Absolutely. They haven't figured out who they are and what they're really solving for the people that they want to help. What do those people actually want to be helped with? And how do you figure out there are millions of people doing similar things and solving problems similar to the ones that you solve. The whole world we can hire because of the internet. How do we find you and how can you tell me how you differentiate from the 500,000 people that do something very similar to as you? Why are you the right one for me? That's what branding's about. When you are clear on who you are, who you help, and who you are not, that's branding. And that actually excites people and they actually relate to you so that you are the only choice for them.
Yes. And I love that that's where you start with your clients because, I see a lot of branding folks out there who are like, you need this, great look and all these things. And honestly, there's people who have made millions of dollars in their business with a crappy website and a crappy logo. And there's things that you can do. And if you're doing the right things and you're focusing on the right things and not so focused on, you need to have presence and you need to have some of those things, but there's a time and a place to introduce different things in your business. And so tell us what we need to know before we go out and get a logo.
Well, there are 6 steps in my process. The logo creation is the last step, the 6th step, right? So we have the first step is values. You need to understand what values and your whys, right? You need to understand what you're doing and why you're doing it, right? You just really need to know. That helps you with the second part, which is your story. Number 2 is your story. Understanding what parts of you actually are relevant to what you're doing and who you're trying to serve. So these two things together, when you put the values and stories together, you have a hint of who your target audience is. So the third step is positioning you and your story to an audience and what you do, your credibility, all that good stuff, to an audience that will say yes. The fourth step is differentiation, and that's differentiating you from all of those other wonderful colleagues and competitors. I like to consider them colleagues and not competitors, because colleagues, you can partner up, you can see where each other's weaknesses and strengths are, and you can partner up and actually get a much bigger audience if you do that. If you see somebody as a competitor, then you're pitching yourself against them and not, you know, joining them. So I always like to say colleagues, not competitors. The fifth step in the whole thing is messaging. So by understanding the first four steps, you have a good idea of what you're doing, why you're doing it, who you're doing it for, who are you not, and now you can really come up with that one statement, that one message that is going to be relatable to your audience alone. And then the last step is everybody's favorite step, and that is putting the face onto the baby, right? That's the logos, the colors, the store, you know, the brand boards, and getting you that kind of look and feel. But the thing is that it's not just any look or feel. It's one that resonates with you, your audience, and your message. All three of those things coming together and making sure that you don't look like all the other people that are in your doing the similar things, that you have a different mark, a different relatable and recognizable and easily identifiable kind of look and feel that people say, yes, I know exactly what to expect from that person. So there you go. Those are the 6 steps. It's values, story, positioning to an audience, differentiating from your colleagues. 5th is your message, your one message. And 6th is the coup de grace, the logo. Now, I didn't mention anything about websites or any of those others, because those are the vehicles. Mm-hmm. So social media, website, business cards, you know, all those are vehicles. Those are marketing. This is branding.
Absolutely. Love that. And I think there's so many great nuggets in there. So I hope y'all were taking notes as we went along. And I just want to say, if you're watching with us, you know, ask questions. We will see if Nora can answer some of your questions here with us live today. But if not, she can come back and answer them afterwards if we don't see them right away. But whether you're watching the replay or live, feel free to interact with us and tell us what questions you have, what ahas you got from this, because there were so many great nuggets in there. And, you know, one of the things I love that you said was, you know, not thinking of them as competitors and not thinking of people who work against, because I mean, you and I could probably consider ourselves competitors if we wanted to. We're both helping people start their businesses, get going. But when I see it more as collaboration, and I love collaborating with people that are similar but yet different. And that's, you know, knowing your brand and knowing how you stand out and the things that you really help people with helps them understand how they can do that. I think when people come into this and they're struggling to see how they differentiate themselves is when they see themselves as competitors, is when they don't know how to stand out differently. You know, I was asked to sponsor an event recently, and it was for another business coach. And I was like, well, why would I sponsor an event for another business coach? Like, does that even make sense? We do things very differently. We're completely different people, totally different brands. But it took me a minute to wrap my head around the fact that she has all my ideal clients sitting there. Not all of them are going to resonate with her. And it was one of my most productive sponsorships I've had, because, you know, the messaging and things were bringing people in that were clear, and we were able to collaborate in that way.
Absolutely. And you knew where to find your audience because you knew yourself, you knew the story, you had your own ideas of exactly who you can help. So you've positioned yourself. You have a message that if the message of the person on stage was not resonating, you had a message that was a potential person to say, this person doesn't actually resonate. I don't really resonate, but I need a business coach. And she has shown me that I do need a business coach. So therefore, here is this. This is this option. So yes, absolutely. And good on you and the business coach that was leading the event to invite you to have the confidence to have someone somewhat similar as a sponsor of hers. That's amazing. I love it when people work together.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's one of the biggest things to help you get further. I know you are a big believer in joint venture partnerships and being able to collaborate with people. And I think it's one of the things that helps you get out and showcase your brand and showcase who you are and showcase what you're about on other people's platforms as well, right? So it's another way to get out there. It's part of the reasons why I do these lives, is because I love collaborating with people. I am a huge collaborator. It's one of the things I missed a lot when I left corporate. Is now it was like, you know, I had been leading large teams and had been in management for a long time. And it's like, I missed the collaboration a little bit. And so it's part of the reason why I started these, but it's also, you know, now I'm giving you a place to showcase what you do. And your audience also gets to see me in a different way. And so it's a great way to just be able to go out there and showcase your brand and see what other people are doing.
Absolutely. I totally agree. And I love, love, love it.
So what are a few questions that we can ask ourselves that are really going to help us stand out and strengthen our brand?
All right, so these are all things to help you become relatable to an audience and try to help you narrow you, what you're doing, and who your audience is. Because if you don't know who your audience is, you're pretty much dead in the water, right? And you're struggling, and then you have these questions of, I need clarity. Well, your clarity actually is a brand strategy. So here are 3 questions that you can ask yourself to kind of get you into that mental process of what is going on. How can I actually reach the people who I want to really make a difference and impact with? So you've heard probably the question, what problem do you solve? Yes, but I think people actually answer that question wrongly. We are taught to answer that question with, I help X people with X problem in X, whatever, right? That's what we are taught, this formula, this marketing formula for elevator pitches and things of that nature, right? I think it's the wrong way. Actually, I don't think it, I know it's the wrong way. For this to understand who your audience is, you need to understand what problem does the audience have now that I have the solution to help them get to a different place, right? The desired place. I have to ask and answer it as my audience is right now suffering, wallowing, uh, confused, have no clarity, whatever it is, right? They want to be better. They want to be, well, like your audience, they want to be business owners. They want to leave their wonderful jobs and actually have the freedom and flexibility to make their own path in the world, right? Mm-hmm. And so these are where they are. So what do? They're They're mad because they're not being able to get this done. They're frustrated because it's not happening fast enough. They don't have enough of whatever it is, right? They don't know what they don't know. And they're like, I need to know, I need to consume so much, so many blogs, but there's so much out there that is conflicting. The thing is that you just need to understand what the client is going through right this second and define that. It has nothing to do with you yet.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing to do with you yet. It just has to say, what are they feeling right now? And what do they want to feel tomorrow after they work with you? What will they get? So what relief will they get? That's how you answer that question. So the first question is, what problem does your audience have? You can put a period there. And then, how can I solve that problem? Is a way to say that as well, right? And then that's the problem they're having. But here's how what I do can help them. It's a separate kind of thought pattern. Second question, major question is, well, do you have any questions about that one or anything to say about that one?
No, I totally agree. And I love how you set it up with, what are they feeling now and what are they feeling later? And I always like to put it in as like, what's the tangible results you are getting them from going from here to here? Like, what's the difference? Where are you going with them and how do you get there?
Absolutely, absolutely. So the second is why? Why do you solve that specific problem? Why do you actually, if you go to the question above, you come out with that question and how you can solve their problem. But why? Why are you choosing that specific problem to solve for them? That's going to tell you a lot about you. It's also going to tell you a lot about them. And so that's really what we're trying to do is we're trying to get into the minds of ourselves and the minds of our audience. So those are two great questions to do. If you want me to go for the third, I can go for the third or comment.
Go for it. You're on a roll.
All right. So the third is, this is where everybody wants to start. And especially when they're doing their bios or their profiles and everything, this is the last thing that you should be focusing on is what gives me the credibility to solve that problem that you're wanting to solve for people. It's the reason why it's third is because you've got to understand who your audience is, who you are, what problem you really are trying to solve. You need to understand those. Then you can actually look at your credibility, all the things, because we're multifaceted. You look at all the things and you say, that one right there will actually be credible to this audience that has this issue. It's not a laundry list of all the things that you've done for the last 47 years. You know what I'm saying? It's specific things. And it's the same thing with your story, is specific things that you can actually put in so you don't look boastful. There are reasons why you actually need these things because it sets you apart from all those other people, but makes you relatable and credible to the people that you're trying to help without being boastful, without being salesy, without being anything that isn't inauthentic. Mm-hmm. It's just you.
Yes. Yeah, that's great. I mean, it is just you, right? And it's understanding and being confident in who you are and understanding what's made you the way you are so that you can go help someone else through those same things. And so, yes. Well, thank you so much. This has been amazing. So many great nuggets. And do you have something you want to share with our listeners today?
I would love to. I have a checklist, a brand relatability checklist that asks you about, I think it's 6 or 9 questions on what other questions outside of these three that I've already stated, that you can kind of think through how you can start kind of clarifying what you do, who you do it for, and why you do that. And if you message me on Facebook, Nora Day Richardson, private message, I will send that link on over to you.
Awesome. Great. Thank you. And if you want afterwards, you can also post it in the comments below, or you can send Nora a message. Thank you for being here with us, Nora. It's been
Thank
great.
you. Yes.
I am so glad you all are here with us today. And I want to remind you that if you have not already gotten your ticket for the Inspired Possibilities retreat that is coming up November 6th and 7th, that the VIP intro price is going up on Thursday. So last 2 days to get in at an extraordinary price. The value of this thing is just incredible. And we are going to have so much fun at the retreat. And with your VIP ticket, you also get an amazing gift box, which we've got a ton of gifts that are going to be in there for you. We've got a special event for you, and you get 2 extra bonuses that are worth $2,000 each. I mean, this is like crazy, ridiculous value. And you can get all that through tomorrow for only $247. So go in and get your ticket, because you do not want to miss out on this.
And who is this for? And who's this wonderful thing for?
It is for people who want to make a change, make a shift in their life. So whether that is going from corporate to becoming an entrepreneur, whether that's the fact that you're already an entrepreneur and you're just not getting enough momentum in your business and you want to continue to grow and expand, we are going to go going through and breaking down what is holding you back from making a change, from growing in your business, from that taking that next step, identifying what it is, clearing out all of that, getting you a great strategy for moving forward and building out your plan so that you can make it happen.
Oh my gosh, that sounds absolutely wonderful, Tammy. I think everybody should hop on this.
Yes, Nora, we hope to see you there too. And I can't wait to see you. I'll post the link for that in the comments as well. It was so great to see you all today. We will see you back on the next weekly wisdom. We'll see you later.
Bye.